Kiyotaka Ayana Koji enrolls in Class 1D at the Advanced Nurturing High School, a government-established institution designed to train the nation's top students. The homeroom teacher for Class D, Sae Chabashira, introduces the point system, explaining it functions like currency. Each student receives a monthly allowance of 100,000 points to spend at the school's stores, with 1 point equivalent to 1 yen. She cautions them that their progress will be evaluated based on performance. Ayana Koji maneuvers through the system, mindful of how he uses his points, while meeting the outgoing Kikayo Kashida and interacting with his aloof classmate, Suzune Horikita. Hoping to foster a friendship between Kashida and Horikita, Ayana Koji arranges a meeting in the cafeteria, secretly inviting them along with 2 other classmates. However, Horikita quickly realizes his plan and leaves. On April 30th, most of Class D indulges in extravagant spending and neglects their studies, raising Ayana Koji's suspicions. By May 1st, the students of Class D discover they will no longer receive their allowance. Chabashira explains that future allowances will be determined by their academic performance. Due to their lack of effort, the class ends up without points for the following month. Chabashira outlines the school's system, explaining that the 4 first-year classes are ranked based on merit, with the possibility for Class D to be promoted to Class C if they perform well on exams. She warns that under the current circumstances, anyone who fails the upcoming exam will be expelled. Aware of the stakes, most students dedicate time to their studies, except for Ken Sudo, Kenji Ike, and Haruki Yamachi. Ayana Koji and Suzune discuss the situation, and she requests that he invite the boys to join a study group in the library. However, due to Suzune's stubbornness, Ayana Koji and Kashida are unable to convince them. Sudo, more interested in basketball than academics, makes it clear he has no intention of studying. Ayana Koji later overhears Suzune speaking with her brother, Manabu, the student council president. Manabu confronts her over their differing opinions on isolated independence. Ayana Koji steps in, and Manabu questions whether Ayana Koji's consistent 50-point scores on every test were mere coincidences. When the midterm exams arrive, Class D performs remarkably well, earning some of the highest scores among the first-year students. Class D receives the results of their latest exam, and while everyone passes, Sudo falls short by just 1 point. This outcome stems from Ayana Koji spending 15,000 points to purchase exam questions from an upperclassman a few days earlier. He clarifies that this act doesn't violate any school rules. Later, Ayana Koji overhears Chabashira questioning Suzune about whether true equality exists, and both agree that it does not. Ayana Koji and Suzune then use their points to raise Sudo's score by a single point, allowing him to remain in the class. Kashida accidentally leaves her phone behind, and Ayana Koji returns it to her. When he observes her selfish demeanor, she demands that he keep it a secret, threatening to falsely accuse him of assault if he doesn't comply. On July 1st, Class D's point distribution is suspended due to an incident the day before involving Sudo, and 3 basketball players from Class C. Sudo was attacked and defended himself, but due to his bad reputation, he will likely be held responsible unless the class can find a witness to clear his name before the upcoming hearing. If they fail, the class will go without points for the month. Meanwhile, the 3 attackers from Class C secretly plot with their classmate, Kakeru Ryun, to manipulate the situation in their favor. With assistance from Class B, Class D posts messages in search of witnesses to the altercation. Suzune informs Ayana Koji and the others that Eri Sakura was present at the scene and captured the incident on camera. That night, Ayana Koji and Kashida discuss the nature of truth, noting that if one suspect is a killer and the other has a clean record, people are more likely to believe the law-abiding citizen, even if they are guilty in the absence of solid evidence. The following day, Sakura is approached for the footage, but she accidentally drops the camera. Panicking, she believes it's broken and insists that no one should get involved. Sakura, Ayana Koji, and Kashida take the camera to the electronics store where it's covered under warranty. When the clerk asks for Sakura's contact information, Ayana Koji provides his own instead. He also deduces that Sakura is the internet model who recently became popular. During the hearing led by Manabu, both Class D and Class C present their testimonies, each blaming the other for starting the fight, with the initial ruling favoring Class C after remaining quiet. Suzune finally speaks up when prompted by Ayana Koji. She questions the circumstances of the fight, pointing out that in a 3-on-1 altercation, it's unlikely Sudo alone caused such severe injuries. She then introduces Sakura as a witness, explaining that she was present during the incident and captured the fight in the background while taking photos. However, the evidence only confirms Sakura's presence and doesn't fully exonerate Sudo. Class C's homeroom teacher, Sakagami, suggests a compromise where Sudo is suspended for 2 weeks and the 3 Class C students for 1 week each, but Class D rejects the offer. Recognizing that one side is clearly lying, Manabu concludes the hearing, stating he will announce his decision the next day unless new evidence or confessions come forward. He also warns that he has the authority to expel any involved students. Sakura returns to her dormitory and finds the photos in her mailbox. Using the delay in the final ruling, thanks to the photo, Ayana Koji and Suzune devise a plan at the stairwell. Kushida sends a fake message to the 3 Class C students, instructing them to meet her at the special annex, luring them to the stairwell where Ayanokoji and Suzune are waiting. Hanami Ikanos had also installed security cameras in the area. This allows them to convince the Class C students that neither side benefits from continuing with the complaint, and that they risk expulsion for fabricating a lie that involved the school. The Class C students, realizing the potential consequences, agree to drop the complaint. Later, the clerk from the electronics store, who is a huge fan of Sakura's online alter ego, Shizuku, assaults her. However, Ayanokoji and Ikanos use the phone tracker and security cameras to apprehend the clerk. Chabashira tells Suzune that Class D is considered the school's dumping ground for students with flaws, and in her opinion, Ayanokoji is one of those students. Despite this, Ayanokoji declines an offer to join the student council, giving Suzune credit for resolving the incident. Together, they make plans to help their classmates advance to Class A. A group of Class D students, including Ayanokoji, Sudo, Ike, Yamachi, and their operation leader Hideo Satomura, gather to discuss their plan to spy on the girls in the changing room. Ayanokoji invites Suzune to join them at the pool, and discreetly warns her about the scheme. While everyone is at the pool having a good time, Yamachi sneaks into the women's changing room, disguised as a janitor, to set up hidden cameras under the guise of cleaning. However, things take a turn when Manabu, along with students from Class C and Class A, approach the area, leading to a tense situation that traps Ike inside the changing room. In need of a distraction, Satomura contacts Ayanokoji for help. Suzune steps onto the diving platform, and gives a speech about how Class D will one day rise to Class A, providing the diversion Ike needs to escape. She then removes all the SD cards from the cameras, sabotaging the operation. Afterward, Ayanokoji admits to Suzune that he manipulated her, and allowed the plan to unfold, reasoning that the group might have gone through with it behind his back if he hadn't intervened. For a class trip, all first-year students are taken aboard a luxurious cruise ship. Ayanokoji learns from Chabashira that an unidentified man had contacted the school, requesting his expulsion. Chabashira offers to shield him and help him reach Class A, but Ayanokoji, suspecting her intentions, declines. She warns him that rejecting her offer could lead to his expulsion and loss of freedom. Ayanokoji later discusses the trip's destination with Suzune, sharing his suspicion that the school has an ulterior motive, and is likely taking them to a school-owned island for something more than just leisure. Mirin attempts to manipulate Suzune regarding the security camera, while Mio Ibuki from Class C tries to confront Ryuen, only to be stopped by Albert Yamada. Suzune speculates that Class C may be on the verge of internal collapse. Meanwhile, Sakayanagi schemes behind the scenes, gathering information with other students. Later, Sakura invites Ayanokoji on a date but abruptly changes her mind when he arrives to meet her. Embarrassed after being spotted by Kushida, Sakura quickly leaves. As Ayanokoji attempts to depart as well, Kushida stops him, reverting to her darker personality. She tells him that she's noticed his caution around her, which he confirms. Switching back to her cheerful persona, Kushida admits she feels lonely when left on her own. The following day, the school announces the true purpose of the trip. The students will be subjected to a week-long survival test on a deserted island. Yasukurada explains the rules of the survival test based on the manual. Each class receives 300 test points to spend on necessities like food and other supplies, and whatever points remain at the end of the week can be converted into class points. Test points are deducted for injuries, environmental pollution, missing roll calls, and any acts of violence between classes. While Class D decides to endure the challenge without unnecessary luxuries, the girls insist on acquiring a portable toilet. Despite the debate, the class resolves to save as many points as possible. After choosing a camping location, Ayanokoji accompanies Sakura and Rokusu Konji. He leaves Konji behind and continues with Sakura to find a strategic spot to claim, recalling Chabashira's explanation that only the designated class leader can secure a location. Every possession that lasts 8 hours earns the Class 1 special test point, which can be traded for class points. By conserving 50 test points, a class gains the right to guess the leader of another class. While searching for a spot, Ayanokoji spots Kohei Katsuragi holding the leader card while speaking with Yahiko Totsuka. Class D regroups and sets up camp near a river. Suzune is chosen as the leader for being reliable and not drawing too much attention. While gathering firewood, Ayanokoji, Yamachi, and Sakura find the injured Mio Ibuki, and Kushida offers her some food. The class formulates a strategy for managing their points, setting a cap of 180 points to cover essentials like 2 meals a day, a toilet, a tent, and 30 points reserved for emergencies. However, their plans suffer a setback when Konji, despite claiming illness, withdraws from the test, costing Class D 30 points. Ayanokoji and Suzune set out to scout the other classes' camps. They discover that Class B has set up near a waterfall, and runs their camp similarly to Class D, but in a more favorable location. Class A is situated in a cave with tight security, and despite Katsuragi summoning his guards and warning her that she might provoke a conflict, Suzune remains unfazed. Class C's camp is on the beach, where Ryuen has already spent all their points, treating the test like a vacation. Ryuen took this approach knowing that by using all their points up front, they wouldn't face penalties. He scolds Mio for her defiance. That night, someone secretly breaks into the girls' tent at Class D's camp and steals a phone. On the fourth day, Class D continues their reconnaissance to identify the other class leaders. Ayanokoji and Sakura visit Class C's camp, where they learn from Ikanos that everyone, except Mio, has withdrawn from the test. On the fifth day, Kei Karuizawa's underwear goes missing, sparking a bag search within Class D. Yamachi finds it in Ike's bag, but Ayanokoji takes the item to manage the situation. The girls demand a pat-down search, and during the process, Harada finds Ayanokoji but claims he couldn't find anything incriminating. Later, Harada speaks privately with Ayanokoji, agreeing to take the blame for the stolen underwear, knowing that his reputation would suffer the least, especially due to his relationship with Karuizawa. In the aftermath of the theft incident, trust within Class D begins to crumble, leading to a separation between the girls and boys in the camp. Mio approaches Ayanokoji to discuss her thoughts on the thief, and he expresses his trust in her, although he mentions that Sudo has suspicions about her. That evening, Ayanokoji and Suzune sit by the campfire, and he realizes she has been unwell throughout the test. Suzune had been resting in her cabin during the cruise to recover from her illness, yet she remains determined to push through. The following day, Class D gathers food in preparation for an approaching rainstorm. While fishing in the river, Ayanokoji asks Suzune to verify the authenticity of the leader card that Katsuragi was holding, but even after examining it, he still feels uncertain. During this time, Yamachi smears mud on Suzune, prompting her to shove him to the ground near Ayanokoji. As she tries to clean her hair, someone secretly takes the leader card, giving Ayanokoji insight into the situation. Shortly afterward, someone sets fire to the survival test manual, exacerbating the trust issues within Class D. Suspecting that Mio might be behind the sabotage, Suzune attempts to confront her and retrieve her keycard without any witnesses to the altercation. Mio, however, hands the card over to a mysterious student, further complicating matters. Mio informs Katsuragi via a ham radio that she has obtained Suzune's card, revealing that Class A and Class C are collaborating. As a result, Suzune is withdrawn from the test. On the final day, the students pack up their camps and try to guess the leaders, with Class B opting not to provide answers. During the assembly, Ryuen discloses that he has secretly forged an agreement with Katsuragi to transfer 200 test points to Class A in exchange for the card or a photo. Class C quickly uses up their remaining 100 points, leaving everyone except Ryuen, Mio, and Kanda, who was tasked with spying on Class B to withdraw from the test. Class C guesses the leaders, Yahiko Totsuka for Class A, Chihiro Shiranami for Class B, and Suzune for Class D when the results are announced. Class D emerges victorious with 225 points, followed by Class B with 140 points, Class A with 120 points, and Class C with none. The students return to the cruise ship, where Risu Sakayanagi reveals that her plan to make everyone mistrust Katsuragi worked, weakening his influence over the class, as her ally Hashimoto had secretly disclosed Class A's leader to Ryuen. Ayanokoji informs Suzune that he permitted Mio to steal the card, effectively becoming the leader in her place to ensure that Class A and Class C incorrectly identified her. Regarding the other guesses, he explains that he only saw the back of Katsuraga's card. Knowing Katsuraga's cautious nature, he inferred that Totsuka was Class A's leader. He also realized that since Ryuen had not withdrawn, he could deduce him as Class C's leader, having seen him with the same radio Mio used. To protect Class D's alliance with Class B, Ayanokoji chose not to name Class B's leader. Ryuen reveals that his main motivation for the alliance with Class A was to secure a contract that would allow him to receive 20,000 points from each Class A student every month until graduation. In a meeting with Chabashira, Ayanokoji learns that the man who sought his expulsion was his father. He tells Chabashira that despite his father's warnings, he intends to defy him. After advising Suzune that she needs allies, Ayanokoji tells Harada that Suzune was crucial to Class D's victory, hoping to build trust in her. However, Ayanokoji remains detached from his classmates, viewing them and humanity in general as tools to be used and sacrificed in his pursuit of victory. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.